I stand frozen in my mother's garage, a black trash bag trembling in my hands. Inside lies everything I brought this morning. The crystal bottle of Chanel No. 5, her signature scent since I was a child, pink roses from Pike Place Market arranged just the way she likes them, and a red envelope sealed with tomorrow's promises, all pristine, untouched, discarded. The roses haven't even begun to wilt. Just hours ago, I'd walked into Le Parfumerie downtown, letting the bell chime announce my entrance. The saleswoman recognized me from my previous visits. "The usual for your mother, Miss Whitaker?" My fingers had traced the gold-embossed bottle. She mentioned running low last month. Such a careful lie, Mom hadn't mentioned anything to me in months. But I'd noticed the empty spot on her vanity during Easter brunch, filed it away like I did all the little details that might help me bridge the growing distance between us. Now the bottle sits at the bottom of the trash bag, pristine in its white and gold box. The price tag still clings to the bottom, $168. More than I should spend, probably. But what's money when you're trying to buy your way back into your mother's heart? Hours of preparation dissolved in seconds. I'd spent the morning rehearsing responses to potential awkward moments, determined to navigate brunch with grace. "How's work?" I'd smile and mention the promotion without sounding boastful. "Still single?" A light laugh, redirect to Tessa's college plans. But nothing had prepared me for arriving at a table where everyone but me had embossed place cards. Cream-colored cardstock with golden calligraphy, Mom's special occasion stationery. Mark, Denise, Tessa, even Uncle Phil and Aunt Caroline, but no Marin. "Oh, Marin's actually here," Tessa had announced, her voice carrying across the restaurant. "I thought you only showed up when you needed a tax write-off." Mom's laugh tingled like ice and crystal. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Mark shifted in his seat, redirecting the conversation whenever I tried to speak. "So, Phil, how's the new boat?" I became a ghost at my own mother's table. Transparent. Unseeable. Now I understand why. The bathroom excuse came easily enough. Just need to freshen up. No one looked up as I left the table. I passed the garage on my way, noticed the door slightly ajar. A glimpse of black trash bags shouldn't have caught my attention. Shouldn't have pulled me in like gravity. But here I am. The red envelope sits in my hand, still sealed. My handwriting flows across the front. "To Mom, with love." Inside, nestled between cardstock and sentiment, rests $900 in crisp bills. A contribution toward Tessa's summer tuition, because that's what older sisters do, what daughters do, what ATMs do. My throat burns. A single tear threatens to fall, but I won't let it. Not here. Not now. The sounds of brunch drift through the walls, crystal clinking, polite laughter, the rise and fall of conversation that flows so smoothly without me. I should confront them, storm back in, demand answers. Isn't that what people do in movies? Make a scene, force the truth into the open? But my hands move with quiet purpose, gathering the pristine packages from the trash. The roses, still wrapped in brown paper and twine. The perfume in its elegant box. The card, unread and heavy with cash. I place each item carefully in my leather tote, movements precise as an accountant reconciling books. The garage door whispers shut behind me. My heels click against concrete, each step carrying me further from the house that stopped being home long before today. The sound of my car unlocking echoes in the quiet street. I slide into the driver's seat, place my tote gently on the passenger side. No tearful confrontation. No dramatic exit. Just the soft purr of my engine and the growing distance in my rearview mirror. They won't notice I'm gone for at least 10 minutes. Maybe longer. They've had practice not seeing me. But something shifts inside my chest as I turn onto the main road. A weight lifts. Or maybe breaks. Years of trying to earn my place at a table that never had room for me crystallize into this single moment of clarity. Every check written. Every holiday navigated. Every careful word chosen to avoid rocking their perfect family boat. All of it thrown away like Sunday trash. The roses catch the light, still beautiful despite their rejection. I could take them home, arrange them in my own vase, keep the perfume, return the card. But that's not the point, is it? This isn't about the gifts. It's about years of being erased from my own family's story, one carefully orchestrated exclusion at a time. My phone buzzes in my purse. Once, twice, 3 times. Mom's special ringtone, the one I set years ago when I still believed missed calls meant she missed me. I let it ring. What would you do if you discovered your family had literally thrown your love away? For me, this wasn't just about discarded gifts, it was about years of being erased from my own story. But something was about to change. Something already had. The traffic light ahead turns red, and I stop. Breathe. Plan. They think I'm dispensable, a convenient resource with an open checkbook and a daughter's obligation to give without expecting anything in return. I check my rearview mirror. My eyes are dry, my hands steady on the wheel. They're about to learn how wrong they are. The light turns green. My apartment feels different tonight. The roses from Pike Place Market rest in their brown paper on my kitchen counter, pristine and perfect, waiting for a decision. The Chanel number. 5 box gleams under my living room lamp, its gold lettering catching the light. That red envelope sits between them, still sealed, still heavy with possibility, and $900 I'd withdrawn from the bank yesterday morning. I open my laptop, the familiar glow illuminating the space around me. A blank email page stares back, cursor blinking. Simple, professional, the way I handle everything these days. Subject: Mother's Day card. Just a heads up, I tucked $900 in cash inside the letter, thought it could help with Tessa's tuition. Hope it wasn't misplaced. Send. The memory hits without warning. Mom and me in our old kitchen, just us two, singing along to Madonna while making spaghetti. I was 12, gangly and uncertain, but her smile made everything okay. She twirled me around that tiny linoleum floor, pasta sauce bubbling on the stove. Who needs fancy restaurants? She'd laugh. We've got everything right here. Then Mark moved in. The everything shifted. First, it was small things. My school artwork disappeared from the fridge, replaced by his real estate awards. My bedroom became the guest room when his parents visited. Mom stopped singing in the kitchen. When Tessa arrived, the transformation was complete. The walls filled with professional family portraits, Mark, Mom, baby Tessa. The photographer asked me to hold the reflector. Just until we get the family shots, he said. Nobody corrected him. Opening my banking app, I stare at the recurring payments I've set up over the years. The utilities for their house power, water, internet, Tessa's tuition contributions. The professional association fees for Mark's real estate license. Tax preparation services I've provided for free, saving them thousands. My phone buzzes. 8 a.m., right on schedule. 3 voicemails from Mom. Marin, honey, there's been a terrible misunderstanding. A text from Mark. Hey kiddo, let's grab coffee this week, my treat. Tessa's message pops up last. Way to ruin Mother's Day, real mature. You need to see this. Rachel's text arrives like a lifeline. My best friend since college, the one who noticed things I tried to ignore. The lunch invitations that stopped, including me. The family vacations I learned about through Facebook photos. The Christmas I worked a double shift at the accounting firm while they opened presents without me. Your mother just posted about ungrateful children on Facebook, Rachel writes. Want to come over? I've got wine and zero judgment. Can't tonight, I reply, meeting with Susan. Susan, my therapist of 6 months, suggested I start keeping receipts. Not for revenge, she'd said. For clarity. The stack sits in my desk drawer, check every transfer, every professional favor that helped build Mark's client base. The next day at work, my colleague David stops by my office door. That recommendation you wrote for Mark's Century 21 application? The regional director called to verify some details. Tell him I'll need to revise my statement. My voice sounds steady, professional. My phone hasn't stopped buzzing. Mom's number flashing again and again, each call more urgent than the last. I open my banking app one more time. Click. Cancel automatic utility payments. Click. Withdraw from next semester's tuition contribution. Click. Remove Mark's professional membership fees. When I turn to meetings and clients, the working hours are long past, so I go home. The roses still wait on my counter at home that night. I should throw them away, a perfect mirror of this morning's discovery, but that's not who I am. Instead, I wrap them carefully and walk down the hall to Mrs. Chen's apartment. She lost her husband last month. These are beautiful, she says, touching a petal. But why aren't you keeping them? I think about the trash bag in Mom's garage, about 12-year-old me dancing in that cramped kitchen, about the family photos where I'm conspicuously absent. Because, I tell her, sometimes the kindest thing we can do is stop pretending. Back in my apartment, I open the red envelope at last. The bills inside feel crisp, like possibility, like freedom. I slip them back into my wallet, each one a small piece of myself I'm finally reclaiming. My phone buzzes again. Mom's voice fills my voicemail, shrill with panic. The utility company called. There must be some mistake with the payment. And Mark's broker needs that recommendation by tomorrow. Marin, you have to fix this. Fix this. Like I've fixed everything else. Their convenience masquerading as family obligation, their demands disguised as love. I pick up the Chanel number, 5, its familiar weight in my hands. Mom started wearing it the day she married Mark, replacing the drugstore perfume that smelled like our Sunday morning pancakes and midnight story times. The bottle finds a new home on my own vanity. A small decision, but it feels monumental, like the first brick removed from a wall I've spent years maintaining. Have you ever wondered what happens when you stop carrying someone else's life? I write in my journal, Susan's assignment for moments like these. I'm not seeking revenge, I'm simply reclaiming what has always been mine, my dignity, my resources, my peace. My phone lights up with another call. This time, I don't look to see who it is. In the kitchen, I pour myself a glass of wine. The evening light paints my apartment in shades of amber, the same color as Mom's eyes. Our eyes. The genetic reminder of a connection that used to mean everything. The family that had discarded me wasn't prepared for the aftermath of my absence. But that's not my burden anymore. They'll have to find their own solutions, their own strength, their own way to navigate the world without my constant corrections and contributions. I raise my glass to the empty room, to the woman who's finally learning that love shouldn't require constant payment plans, to the daughter who's done funding her own erasure. Tomorrow, they'll try again. Guilt trips and accusations, financial emergencies and family obligations, the familiar dance of manipulation dressed up as concern. But tonight, in this quiet space that's entirely my own, I discover that peace sounds like a phone set to silent, like the gentle rustle of $900 returning to my wallet, like the end of a sentence I've been trying to finish for years. Sometimes the most powerful word isn't sorry. It's goodbye. At the present, I came to their house to see what they are conspiring. The red notice on my mother's front door catches my eye from the street. Even at this distance, the bold letters spell out their warning. I grip my steering wheel tighter, resisting the urge to pull into the driveway. Mark's Lexus sits alone in front of the garage, a far cry from the usual weekend crowd of family cars. 3 weeks since I stopped paying their utility bills. 22 days since I withdrew my letter of recommendation that had secured Mark's biggest real estate contracts. 16 days since I canceled my monthly contribution to Tessa's tuition fund. My phone buzzes. Another message from Mom, the 20th today. I silence it without looking and go home. This was the first morning I woke up without checking her messages and felt like learning to breathe underwater. Strange, unnatural. Now each notification simply ripples past, leaving barely a wake in my consciousness. After I came back, my apartment feels different too. Bigger somehow, though nothing has changed but the silence. No more Sunday meal prep for family brunches I'm not really invited to. No more scanning real estate listings for Mark's clients. No more late-night calculations of how much I can spare for Tessa's textbooks. I flip open my journal, the leather soft beneath my fingers. Day 23 of reclaiming my life, I write. The words flow easier now, unlike the first entry where tear stains wrinkled the pages. Found another automatic payment to Mom's cell phone bill. Canceled it. Amount saved this month, $2,876. 2 days later, the office lobby sparkles with morning light when she storms in. I spot her through the glass walls of my corner office, signature pearls glinting as she gestures at the receptionist. My mother's theatrical entrance draws every eye, exactly as intended. I need to see my daughter immediately, her voice carries across the floor. Marin Whitaker. I stand, smoothing my charcoal pencil skirt. My heels click against marble as I step into the hallway. Mom. Her eyes narrow at my calm tone. We need to talk. She grabs my arm, manicured nails pressing into my skin. Now. I don't move. We can speak in the visitor area. The reception area couches sink beneath us. Mom perches on the edge, her designer handbag clutched like a shield. You're humiliating this family. A junior accountant walks past, poorly concealing his interest. I wait until he disappears around the corner. How exactly am I doing that? Don't play innocent. Mark lost the Henderson contract because you pulled your recommendation. Tessa might have to defer next semester. There are notices on our door, Marin. Notices. I remember being 7, watching her count pennies for the electric bill. The same sharp tone, the same accusation in her eyes. But I'm not 7 anymore. Fix what you've broken, she hisses, before you ruin your sister's life. The words rise in my throat, calm and clear as spring water. Maybe this family should have stopped treating me like a stranger with a checkbook. Her face flushes. After everything we've done for you. Everything you've done? The memory surfaces, 16, clutching a duffel bag of summer clothes. Mom's breezy voice explaining why I couldn't join the family vacation. We need to save money, honey. The Facebook photos posted a week later, all of them at the beach. Mark teaching Tessa to swim, Mom in a white sundress, her smile radiant. No empty space where I should have been. Christmas Eve, age 23, double shift at the accounting firm to afford Tessa's violin. Coming home at midnight to an empty apartment because they'd decided to open presents early. We didn't want to keep Tessa up late, Mom explained the next day, not meeting my eyes. My hands remain steady in my lap now, talking to her. I can recommend some excellent financial advisors. How dare you? She stands, her voice rising. I am your mother. And I'm your daughter. Or I was, until Mark offered you a better family package. Security arrives with professional discretion. Miss Whitaker, is everything all right? I nod. My mother was just leaving. She fights them with dignity, I'll give her that. No screaming, no scenes. Just that ramrod straight spine, chin held high as they escort her out. Her parting shot carries across the lobby. I hope you're satisfied with yourself. I return to my office. Linda from HR appears in my doorway. Everything okay? Yes. I pull up the transfer request I've been considering. Tacoma branch needs a senior accountant. Everything's fine. The application takes 10 minutes to complete. My cursor hovers over submit when an email notification pops up. Tessa. How could you do this to us? Mom's crying. Mark might lose the house, all because you're having some sort of midlife crisis. Real families don't abandon each other. Real families. Like the ones in the vacation photos I wasn't in. The holiday dinners where my chairs stayed empty. The Mother's Day brunches where my gifts ended up in the trash. I hit submit. The Tacoma apartment costs less than half my Seattle mortgage. No space for family gatherings I'm not invited to. No guest room for relatives who never visit. Just a sunny kitchen with a window seat, perfect for Sunday mornings with coffee and paper, the kind of mornings I never allowed myself before. 4 weeks later, a small package arrives the day I move in. Inside, a delicate silver bracelet catches the light. The note reads, "To replace the one you gave your mother last Christmas. This time, keep it. You deserve nice things too. Linda from HR." I clasp it around my wrist, the metal warm against my pulse. In my journal, I write, Day 47, bought myself flowers today. They're staying right where they belong. The phone buzzes. Mom's number. I let it ring. And now at work, a week after I moved into my new apartment, my phone buzzes for the 20th time today. Mark's name flashes across the screen, his message preview dripping with manufactured concern. Your mother is devastated by your behavior. Delete. Another notification. Tessa this time. I might have to drop out because of what you did. Delete. The messages pile up like autumn leaves, carried on winds of manipulation. Mrs. Henderson from church wants me to know she's praying for our family's reconciliation. Dad's old colleague hopes I'll do the right thing. Even my mother's hairdresser called to remind me that family is forever. I set my phone face down on my desk, focusing instead on the spreadsheet before me. Numbers don't lie, numbers don't manipulate, numbers just are. Everything okay? Sarah from accounting peers over our shared cubicle wall, concern etching fine lines around her eyes. Your phone's been having a seizure all morning. Family stuff. I manage a small smile. Nothing urgent. But urgency floods my inbox that evening. Denise has taken to social media, sharing cryptic posts about ungrateful children and the pain of maternal sacrifice. Her friends rally in the comments, offering heart emojis and thinly veiled judgments. I create a new email filter, directing anything from family into a folder labeled Weekly Review. My therapist suggested this approach last session. You don't have to be available for manipulation 24/7, she'd said, tapping her pen against her notepad. Their emergencies aren't emergencies anymore. The silence that follows feels like coming up for air after years underwater. 2 weeks pass. I check the family folder during my scheduled therapy hour, 37 messages, each more desperate than the last. Mark's real estate listings have dried up since I withdrew my professional recommendations. Tessa's tuition payment is overdue. Mom's utility bills are piling up. You've destroyed this family, Mark writes. Is that what you wanted? No, I think, closing the folder. What I wanted was to belong. The whispers reach me through office grapevines. Mark tells anyone who'll listen that I sabotaged his career out of jealousy. Mom spreads rumors about my supposed financial troubles, painting herself as the concerned parent of a daughter spiraling out of control. Tessa posts TikToks about toxic siblings, each one a masterclass in victimhood. Their stories contradict each other like badly rehearsed lies. Join us for dinner? Sarah catches me in the break room, stirring cream into my coffee. A bunch of us are trying that new Thai place downtown. The invitation catches me off guard. When was the last time someone asked me to dinner just because they wanted my company? I go with them. Now, a week later, I host my first dinner party on a Wednesday night. Nothing fancy, just takeout and wine with Sarah and 2 other colleagues who've become friends. To new beginnings, Sarah raises her glass. The others join in, their smiles genuine, their laughter unforced. No one asks what I can do for them. No one measures my worth in dollars and cents. The first holiday hits like a test. Thanksgiving looms, traditionally a performance of family unity at Mom's perfectly set table. This year, my phone stays silent. No guilt-laden invitation. No reminder of my assigned dishes. No subtle hints about financial contributions. I wake up that Thursday morning without the familiar knot in my stomach. No need to rehearse neutral topics or prepare deflections for invasive questions. Instead, I pull on yoga pants and drive to Sarah's house, where a mismatched group of holiday orphans has gathered. Brought sweet potato casserole, I announce, setting down my dish. Fair warning, I tried my Aunt Caroline's recipe. The one who always saw through their bullshit? Sarah asks, taking the casserole. She's heard enough of my story by now to keep the players straight. The very same. I smile, remembering my last call with Aunt Caroline. You know what she told me? She said sometimes the bravest thing we can do is stop playing roles in other people's stories. The casserole turns out lumpy, but tastes like freedom. Later that night, sprawled on Sarah's couch with a glass of wine, I scroll through my mother's latest social media performance. Photos of a perfect family gathering, carefully framed to hide my absence. Tessa and Mark beaming for the camera, Mom's caption gushing about those who choose to be present. My thumb hovers over the block button. A text arrives from an unknown number. They're all scrambling to cover the bills you used to pay. Serves them right. I recognize my cousin Rachel's tone, but I don't respond. This isn't about revenge. It never was. The family message folder shrinks as winter deepens. Their stories shift from accusation to resignation. Mark lands a smaller real estate position. Tessa takes a semester off to find herself. Mom's social media posts turn philosophical, full of quotes about forgiveness and the burden of loving too much. I donate what I used to spend on them to a scholarship fund for first-generation college students. The tax receipt arrives in December, a different kind of family legacy. My therapist says healing isn't linear. Some days the guilt crashes back like a wave, threatening to drown the progress I've made. But now I recognize it for what it is, an echo of old programming, not a compass pointing true north. That's how weeks pass for me. One day in the cafe, You've changed, Sarah observes over lunch, watching me decline yet another guilt-laden message without flinching. No, I meet her eyes, feeling the truth settle in my bones. I just stopped pretending I hadn't. At home that night, the last email I read from my mother ends with a question. Don't you miss your family? I close the laptop, listening to the sound of my own breathing in the quiet apartment. The city lights paint patterns on my walls, my furniture, my choices in the dark. Everything here speaks of presence, not absence, of growth, not loss. I think of the black trash bag in Mom's garage, of pristine gifts discarded without a second thought, of all the times I reached for love and found only obligation staring back. The answer comes easily now. You can't miss what you never really had. But here's what I do have. Friends who celebrate my successes, colleagues who value my voice, a home that welcomes me exactly as I am, a life built on respect instead of debt. Love freely given, not measured in dollars or duties. Some might call it lonely, this choice to walk away. They don't understand that loneliness and solitude wear different faces. One empties you out, the other fills you up. I'm learning the difference, one quiet morning at a time. The lock clicks behind me as I push through my apartment door, grocery bags rustling against my hip. 6 months of peace shattered by one familiar silhouette waiting in my living room. Mom sits perched on the edge of my couch, her designer handbag deflated beside her like a punctured balloon, her fingers twist a tissue into confetti. The perfect French manicure I remember has grown out, showing strips of natural nail beneath. Security let me up. Her voice wavers. The doorman remembered me from Christmas. From 3 Christmases ago, she means. Before I stopped pretending I had a place at their table. I set my bags on the kitchen counter, each movement deliberate. Oranges roll free, bright spots of color against the granite. Would you like some water? Marin, please. The tissue shreds further. We need to talk about what happened. I fill a glass from the pitcher in my fridge. Ice cubes clink against glass as I set it on the coffee table between us. Not too close. Not an invitation to stay. I've been trying to reach you for months. Her voice cracks on months. Your sister had to take a semester off. Did you know that? She lost her spot in the honors program. The program I helped her apply for. The one she told her friends she got into purely on merit. Mark lost his position at the brokerage. Mom's fingers drum against her knee. A nervous tick I haven't seen since her single mother days. None of this would have happened if you hadn't overreacted. I sink into the armchair across from her. Overreacted to finding my Mother's Day gifts in the trash? I was tidying up quickly before guests arrived. Things got mixed up. Mixed up. The words taste like copper on my tongue. Did you ever read the letter you threw away? Her eyes dart to her purse. Things were chaotic that morning. Mark's parents were coming, and... The letter you threw away without opening. My voice remained steady. The one that supposedly had $900 inside. We looked everywhere once we realized. She stops. Something shifts in her expression. What do you mean, supposedly? I lean back, letting the silence stretch between us. In my peripheral vision, a cardinal lands on my balcony railing. Its red feathers catch the afternoon light. There was no money in that envelope, Mom. She blinks. Once, twice, but your email said, I wanted to see if you'd suddenly find the gifts you'd thrown away. The cardinal tilts its head, studying its reflection in my window. The letter only contained what money can't buy. Love, forgiveness, hope that maybe this time would be different. The tissue in her hands disintegrates. You're lying. You're trying to make me look like someone who threw away her daughter's gifts without opening them? The cardinal takes flight. Or like someone who only came looking for those gifts when she thought there was cash inside. That's not fair. Her voice hardens. We're family. Family helps each other. Family. The word sits heavy in my mouth. Tell me, what was the last thing you gave me that wasn't a request for money or a reminder of my obligations? She stands, shoulders rigid. I gave you life. And I spent years trying to earn it. I rise, matching her height. The utilities I paid, Tessa's tuition, tax help for Mark's business, professional referrals. Was any of it enough to earn a place card at your table? You're being dramatic. It was a simple oversight. Simple enough to laugh when Tessa joked about me only showing up for tax write-offs? The memory still stings. Simple enough to throw away roses that hadn't even begun to wilt? Her hand clutches her purse strap. We've had our differences, but you're still my daughter. Am I? I walk to my front door, each step measured. Or am I just the ATM you visit when other options run dry? Marin, please. Her voice cracks again. This time I recognize the sound. Not grief, but fear. The same tone she used with bill collectors years ago. We can work this out, maybe set up a regular schedule for... I open the door. I can recommend some financial counseling services. They offer sliding scale fees. You're really going to abandon your family? Over a misunderstanding? No, Mom. I meet her eyes. They're still the same shade as mine, but I no longer search them for approval. I'm just returning the favor you gave me that Sunday morning, the one you wrapped in a black trash bag. She pauses in the doorway, lips parted. For a moment, I see a flash of the young single mother who once taught me how to be strong. Then her jaw sets, and she's Denise again. Mark's wife. Tessa's mother, a stranger who shares my eyes. When you're ready to apologize, she says, you know where to find us. The door closes with a soft click. No dramatic slam, no tearful accusations, just the quiet sound of one chapter ending and another beginning. I walk to my balcony and open the glass door. The cardinal has returned, a twig in its beak, building something new. A breeze carries the scent of spring from the park below. Grass, earth, possibility. My phone buzzes. Mom's special ringtone, the one I set years ago when I still believed missed calls meant she missed me. I let it ring. Some things are better left unanswered. Some letters are more powerful empty than full. The cardinal takes flight again, twig still firmly in its grasp. I watch until it disappears behind the neighboring building, carrying its small piece of the future toward home. After a year, I will become even stronger, but I will not allow them to step on me ever again. A year later, I got promoted and bought my own house, small but mine. The Sunday morning sunlight streams through my kitchen windows, catching the rim of my coffee mug and the edges of freshly polished silverware. The scent of warm croissants mingles with brewing coffee, filling my new home with promise instead of pretense. Need help with those? Linda from accounting balances her mimosa while eyeing the pastry arrangement I'm perfecting. Her silver hair catches the light as she leans against my granite countertop, comfortable in a way I never was in my mother's kitchen. Just about done. I adjust a chocolate-filled croissant, though you could grab the fruit platter from the fridge. My home. The words still send a little thrill through me. Not just the modest craftsman with its honey-colored hardwood floors and built-in bookshelves, but what it represents. Every mortgage payment comes from my own account. Every paint color choice was mine alone. No one's approval required. The promotion to senior manager came with a salary bump that made it possible. When I told my boss I was house hunting, she didn't hesitate to write a glowing recommendation letter for the mortgage company. About time you invested in yourself instead of everyone else, she'd said, signing with a flourish. The doorbell chimes. Carol from my therapy group arrives with her signature peach cobbler, followed by James from the neighborhood book club clutching a well-loved copy of our latest read. Soon, my dining room hums with conversation and laughter. This beats the stuffiness of country club brunches any day. Linda declares, helping herself to seconds. Remember that awful Valentine's Day event where that woman kept correcting everyone's pronunciation of charcuterie? I laugh, the sound free and genuine. A year ago, I would have swallowed such comments, worried they might get back to my mother's social circle. Now, let them talk. My phone buzzes. A text from Tessa. I know it's Mother's Day. Just wanted to say I get it now. Moving into my own place opened my eyes to a lot of things. Hope you're doing well. No manipulation, no demands, just recognition, arriving like an unexpected gift. I type back, thanks, Tess. Hope you're well too. Simple, kind, bounded. The scholarship fund notification pops up on my phone. My monthly contribution just cleared. Supporting students from challenging family situations felt right. A way to transform my experience into something meaningful without staying trapped in it. The foundation director had teared up when I explained why I wanted to focus on first-generation college students dealing with family pressure. Your story will help them feel less alone, she'd said. Between bites of cobbler, Carol mentions her daughter's struggle with boundary setting. She keeps saying yes to family obligations that drain her. I told her about your journey. Hope you don't mind? Not at all. I pour her more coffee. It took me years to realize that saying no to what depletes you means saying yes to what fulfills you. The afternoon light shifts, painting my walls in warm amber. My guests chat comfortably in the living room while I gather empty plates. The kitchen window frames my small but thriving garden, herbs, tomatoes, and my favorite, a rosebush bearing flowers the color of sunrise. Those are gorgeous, James says, joining me at the sink. Your mother's influence? Actually, no. I touch a petal on the roses I'd cut this morning for my table centerpiece. I used to buy her pink ones from Pike Place, but these? I smile. These are all mine. The crystal vase, a housewarming gift to myself, catches the light, sending rainbow refractions dancing across my walls. Such a simple thing, choosing flowers for my own joy rather than someone else's approval. Later, after the last guest leaves, I curl up in my reading nook with a cup of tea. Photos line my bookshelves, genuine moments with chosen family. My therapy journal rests nearby, its pages chronicling the journey from pain to purpose. The latest entry reads, "Some gardens only bloom once you stop forcing growth in barren soil." My phone lights up. Mother's Day messages flood social media, carefully curated family portraits, gushing tributes, performance art of perfect relationships. Last year, each post would have felt like a personal indictment. Now they scroll past like scenes from a movie I've outgrown. A fresh bouquet needs arranging. I select a sunny yellow vase this time. No more pink roses seeking approval, no more gifts wrapped in obligation. Just bright blooms celebrating this moment, this space, this peace hard-won through pruning what needed to go. These, I whisper, placing them in the center of my dining table, are staying right where they belong. The evening sun paints my walls gold. Somewhere across the city, my mother's house probably echoes with the familiar scripts of family gatherings. But here in my home, the silence rings with possibility. Some relationships have seasons, some chapters end, and sometimes that ending becomes the soil where new life takes root. I touch a flower petal, remembering the young accountant who once arranged pink roses with trembling hands, desperate to prove her worth. She deserved more than she knew. They all do. Every person measuring their value against impossible standards, sacrificing their truth to belong where they were never fully welcomed. My garden lights flicker on automatically, illuminating the rose bush outside. Tomorrow brings client meetings, numbers to reconcile, ordinary routines. But tonight? Tonight I sit with my tea, my choices, my peace, watching light play through crystal and knowing, to my bones, that I'm exactly where I should be. The roses catch the last ray of sun, glowing like promises kept. Not to others this time, to myself. The bank statement trembles in my hands. $42,000. My vision blurs as I read the number again, wondering if grief has finally broken my grip on reality. But Noth's statement remains steady, the numbers unchanging, while my grandmother's handwritten letter flutters to the floor. A tear slides down my cheek, catching the amber rays of evening sunlight streaming through my apartment windows. Behind me, Grandma Evelyn's antique clock ticks away the seconds, each sound as familiar as her voice had been. I bend down to retrieve her letter, my fingers tracing over the words I've already memorized. Use this to build something for yourself, and don't let anyone take it from you. The paper still smells faintly of her house lemon furniture polish and fresh coffee. My throat tightens as memories flood back. Grandma Evelyn at her kitchen table, pencil in hand, meticulously balancing her checkbook while explaining to me why every penny mattered. "Your grandfather died young, Monica," she'd say, her voice steady, but her eyes distant. "I raised 3 children on a bookkeeper's salary, but I did it without owing anyone a dime." My gaze drifts to the glass jar on my bookshelf, still holding the pennies we collected together during my childhood visits. She'd turn it into a game hunting for dropped coins in parking lots, checking payphone slots, saving the copper pieces from my allowance. "Money isn't about wealth," she'd tell me. "It's about freedom." Freedom. I taste the word as I look around my modest one-bedroom apartment. The community center where I work part-time barely covers my bills while I finish graduate school. My 10-year-old Honda needs repairs. Student loans loom. But now, my hand shakes as I open my journal, carefully folding Grandma's letter between its pages. The list of practical uses for the money flows from my pen. Finish my degree, fix the car, start an emergency fund. Smart choices, safe choices, Grandma Evelyn choices. A key turns in the lock, and Derek bursts in, carrying takeout bags that fill the apartment with the smell of garlic and soy sauce. Sorry I'm late, babe. The coffee shop was slammed. He sets the food down and notices my red eyes. Hey, what's wrong? I got a letter from the estate lawyer. I swallow hard. Grandma left me some money. That's amazing. His arms wrap around me, warm and familiar. How much? $42,000. Derek's body stiffens for a fraction of a second. Most people wouldn't notice, but 3 years together have taught me his tells. He pulls back, his expression shifting so subtly that I almost miss it, a quick calculation behind his eyes, a slight lifting of his chin. Babe, this changes everything for us. His voice holds an unfamiliar edge of excitement. We could finally... A knock at the door interrupts him. Mrs. Henderson from next door, probably looking for her cat again, but for once, I'm grateful for the interruption. Something in Derek's tone has set off a warning bell deep in my gut, a sensation I push away as quickly as it comes. The next week passes in a blur of classes and work. Then Derek shows up at my door on Tuesday afternoon, when he should be starting his shift at the coffee shop. I quit my job, he announces, grinning as he flops onto my couch. Now we can finally focus on us without stressing about bills. The words hit me like ice water. What do you mean we? Come on, Monica. He sits up, his tone sharpening. The inheritance. It's perfect timing, we can use it to really build something together. This is my inheritance. I say, the words coming out smaller than I intend. From my grandmother. After 3 years together, you're still thinking like you're single? His voice rises, unfamiliar and ugly. Real couples share everything. Or is that not what we are? I stand frozen in my living room, really seeing him for the first time. The charming barista with big dreams has vanished, replaced by someone I don't recognize. Someone who's been here all along, waiting for his moment. That night, after Derek storms out, I sit cross-legged on my bed surrounded by old photographs. Grandma Evelyn smiles up at me from a faded Polaroid, her eyes sharp and knowing. I remember her words from my college graduation. Pay attention to how people act when they think they have power over you. That's when they show you who they really are. My phone buzzes with a text from Derek. I'm sorry if I came on too strong. You know I only want what's best for us, but you're being selfish right now. The words blur on the screen as another memory surfaces, Grandma Evelyn teaching me to play poker, her face serious as she dealt the cards. Sometimes, honey, the best way to see someone's true character is to give them exactly what they want and watch what they do with it. I set the phone down, my mind already forming a plan. The next test will hurt, but it will show me everything I need to know. I rehearse the words quietly in the darkness of my bedroom, my voice barely a whisper. Derek, I need to tell you something about the money. Behind me, Grandma's clock chimes 10 times, each note as clear as a warning bell. The next morning, the phone rests on my coffee table, its screen glowing with the recording app's interface. In the kitchen, water drips steadily from the fauceta rhythm that matches my pulse. My fingers hover over state recording laws on my laptop screen while Denise perches on my old armchair, picking at a loose thread on the cushion. Monica. Her voice carries the weight of 20 years of friendship. Are you sure you want to know? The late afternoon sun slants through my windows, casting long shadows across the hardwood floor. My grandmother's clock ticks away the minutes until Derek arrives. I need to see who he really is. The words come out stronger than I feel. Before, my throat closes around the rest of the sentence. Denise nods, understanding what I can't say. Before the money changes everything, before I let someone else make decisions about my future, before I dishonor what Grandma Evelyn trusted me to protect. I'll be at Anthony's coffee shop down the street. She squeezes my shoulder. Call if you need me. The door clicks shut behind her. I check the phone's position one last time, angling it just right to catch every word. 3 practice runs have taught me exactly where to stand, how to move, what to say. My stomach knots as I rehearse the story again. A key scrapes in the lock. Derek strides in wearing his favorite leather jacket, the one he bought after quitting his job. His smile falters when he sees my face. Babe, what's wrong? I wrap my arms around my middle, shoulders curving inward. I need to tell you something. He drops onto the couch, man-spreading across the cushions. You look terrible. Did something happen? The script I've practiced blurs in my mind. I sink into the armchair across from him, gripping the worn fabric. I made a terrible investment. His eyebrows shoot up. What? The money. My voice cracks. It's gone, all of it. Silence fills the room like smoke. Derek's face cycles through expressions: disbelief, confusion, dawning comprehension. His jaw tightens. What do you mean, gone? Each word drops like a stone. I trusted someone I shouldn't have. The lie tastes bitter. They promised huge returns. How much? His knuckles whiten against his thighs. Everything. I study the floor, the whole inheritance. The silence stretches. When I look up, disgust twists his features into something ugly and familiar. A mask has dropped, revealing what lived beneath all along. So you're broke. His laugh holds no humor. Great. Don't expect me to carry this relationship. My heart pounds against my ribs, but I keep my voice steady. What do you mean? He stands, pacing like a caged animal. You're just a part-time nonprofit worker with student loans. I stayed because I thought we had a future. Now what? I'm supposed to support you? I never asked you to. I already told Mike and Jason about our windfall. His voice rises. We had plans, but you couldn't even manage basic investing without screwing it up. Each word lands like a slap, but I hold still, letting the phone capture everything. You're not wife material, he spits the words. You're selfish and irresponsible. I wasted 3 years on someone who can't even. Please leave. My voice comes out quiet but firm. He blinks, thrown off script. What? Get out. I stand, pointing to the door. Now. The slam reverberates through my bones. I count to 60, making sure he's gone before retrieving my phone. My hands shake as I stop the recording. The playback catches everything I missed in the moment. The calculated pauses, the twisted logic, the casual cruelty. An hour later, my screen lights up with texts. Jason, how could you blow all that money? Mike, Derek told us everything, real classy. Sarah, rain check on Saturday, not feeling well. 3 years of friendships dissolve in minutes. The betrayal spreads like ink in water, staining everything it touches. My phone buzzes again, Denise. I saw him furious from the coffee shop. You okay? No. The truth comes easier now, but I will be. That night, I sit cross-legged on my bed, surrounded by the evidence of my life before Derek. Old photos, birthday cards, the penny jar from my childhood. Grandma's letter rests in my lap, her words sharp and clear. Don't let anyone take it from you. The hardware store receipt on my nightstand shows my first act of reclamation: new locks for every door. My social media accounts display cheerful taking a break messages. Derek's number joins 24 others on my blocked list. The clock strikes midnight. Each chime rings like a verdict, like freedom, like proof that sometimes losing everything means finding what matters most. I smooth Grandma's letter and whisper into the darkness. Nobody's taking anything from me again. At the present, the bank statement sits untouched on my kitchen counter, the numbers still holding steady at $42,000. Through my window, morning sunlight bathes my simplified apartment in amber warmth. The spaces Derek once dominated now breathe with fresh purpose, his favorite armchair replaced by my reading nook, his cluttered desk transformed into an organized study station. Grandma Evelyn's clock chimes 7 from its new place of honor above my fireplace. A month has passed since I changed the locks, but time feels different now. Each tick marks progress rather than loss. My morning ritual begins. Coffee brewing, schedule review, gratitude journal. Simple actions that ground me in who I am rather than who Derek wanted me to be. The therapy sessions, Denise's gentle suggestion that turned into a lifeline, taught me to recognize these small victories. My phone buzzes. Speaking of Denise. Ready for the presentation? Her voice carries more excitement than my own. Professor Grantham wants my take on financial literacy in underserved communities. The words still feel strange. When did I become an expert? Since you lived it. A pause. And survived it. 2 hours later, the campus buzzes with early summer energy as I hurry to class, my presentation notes secure in Grandma's vintage briefcase. Professor Grantham catches my eye as I settle into my usual seat, her slight nod carrying approval I'm finally learning to accept. Community empowerment requires understanding systemic barriers. A classmate drones on about statistics and demographics. My hand rises before I can stop it. Numbers matter, I hear myself say, but so do stories. Behind every statistic stands a person whose choices were limited by what they never learned about money. The words flow with unexpected authority. Financial literacy isn't just about budgets, it's about dignity. Professor Grantham leans forward. Expand on that, Monica. By the time class ends, 3 pages of notes cover my journal. Professor Grantham waves me over as others file out. "You found your voice!" She shuffles through the semester's assignments. "Your insights about financial trauma, they're not just academic theories for you, are they?" "No." My fingers trace the worn leather of Grandma's briefcase. "They're the reason I'm here." "Stay after class tomorrow. I'd like to discuss your ideas further." 2 hours later, the women's shelter sits quiet when I arrive for my weekend shift. A new face catches my attention, silver hair, straight spine, eyes that have seen too much. The intake form says Patricia, age 63. 40, 3 years of marriage. She whispers as I pour her tea. "I thought I knew how to handle money before I met him. Then suddenly I didn't know anything anymore. He made sure of that." My throat tightens. My grandmother taught me that financial independence isn't just about money. Smart woman. Patricia's hands shake slightly. "What else did she teach you?" For the next hour, we talk about bank accounts and boundaries, about the slow erosion of confidence and the even slower work of rebuilding it. Other women drift over, adding their stories to the growing circle. "If I'd known then what I know now," one says. "We could teach each other," another adds. The idea strikes like lightning. That night, I fill page after page in my journal, the words spilling out faster than I can write them. Financial literacy workshops, but not just about budgets and bank accounts, something deeper, something about worth. Denise arrives for our weekly coffee with a stack of therapy intake forms. "The therapist said you're doing better than expected." "Because I'm turning it into something useful." I slide my journal across the table. "Read this." Her eyes widen as she flips through the pages. "The Evelyn Project? Financial literacy workshops for women in transition, using my inheritance as seed money." The plan tumbles out: curriculum ideas, community partnerships, measurement metrics. This is it. Denise closes the journal carefully. "This is what the money was for. Building something for myself," I quote Grandma's letter. "Something no one can take away. And something that helps others keep what's theirs." Denise squeezes my hand. "When do we start?" Over the next few weeks, the vision takes shape. Professor Grantham connects me with nonprofit leaders. The shelter director offers space for pilot workshops. My supervisor at the community center recognizes the potential and adjusts my schedule to accommodate planning time. Each small step feels like restoration. The inheritance transforms from a number in my account to a foundation for change. Grandma's practical wisdom merges with my hard-won insights, creating something neither of us could have built alone. The project logo, a simple phoenix rising from an open book, takes shape under Denise's artistic direction. "Perfect for a financial resurrection," she jokes, but the symbolism feels right. One evening, as sunset paints my apartment in shades of possibility, I stand before Grandma's clock. Its steady ticking accompanies my voice as I practice introducing the Evelyn Project to the world. Financial independence isn't just about money. I tell my reflection. It's about knowing your worth can't be calculated in dollars. It's about building something larger than yourself. The clock chimes, and I swear I hear Grandma's voice in its clear, strong notes. "Build something for yourself and don't let anyone take it away." I touch the worn glass face of the clock, smiling at the memory of her teaching me to read its hands. "I will, Grandma, but I'm building it for all of us." 2 months later, the whiteboard takes over my living room wall like kudzu, sprawling with workshop outlines and community connections drawn in 4 different colors. Denise stands back, marker poised at her chin, studying our master plan. My inheritance has found its purpose in neat rows of numbers along the bottom edge: seed money for supplies, venue deposits, marketing materials. Your financial expertise plus my marketing background? Denise grins. We're dangerous together. A knock at the door brings lunch and our first test group. 5 women from the shelter file in, carrying the weight of their stories in hunched shoulders and darting eyes. One clutches her purse like a shield. Welcome to the Evelyn Project Pilot Workshop. My voice carries the strength of my grandmother's memory. Please, grab a sandwich and make yourselves comfortable. 2 hours later, the energy has shifted. Susan, a former accountant who lost everything to an emotionally abusive husband, shows another participant how to build a basic budget on her phone. Maria shares her system for hiding money in plain sight, a trick that let her escape with enough cash for first month's rent. The room hums with connection and quiet power. Ladies, this has been incredible. I check my watch, surprised to find we've run over. Next week we'll tackle. Monica. Denise interrupts, phone in hand. Her expression stops me cold. We need to talk. In my kitchen, she shows me the local business Facebook group. Derek's post glows with calculated concern. Warning to local entrepreneurs, watch out for questionable financial workshops targeting vulnerable women. Some people will do anything for money, even exploit trauma. Be careful who you trust with your community's well-being. The words swim before my eyes. 3 years of shared history distilled into digital venom. I can't. My throat closes. How can he? Stop. Denise's hand covers mine. This is exactly what he wants, to make you doubt yourself. The clock chimes 4 times, each note striking clarity through my panic. I hear Grandma Evelyn's voice. The best revenge is building something they can't touch. You're right. I straighten my spine. We're not stopping. The next day after the class, Professor Grantham's office hours provide the next strategic piece. She listens, gray hair caught in afternoon sunlight, then opens her leather planner. The community center board meets Thursday. I sit on it. She writes as she speaks. Your program model is exactly what we've been looking for. Official partnership would give you instant credibility. And protection from individual accusations, I realize. Precisely, she looks up. The local paper's new features editor, she's been asking about women's economic empowerment stories. Interested? Yes. The answer comes without hesitation. 3 weeks blur past. The community center's program director offers workshop space at no cost. A retired tax attorney volunteers to guest speak. My therapist suggests adding a self-worth component that resonates deeply with our pilot group. You're building an ecosystem, Professor Grantham says when I show her the grant application. This could go national. Tonight, I stand in my apartment transformed from a space of betrayal into mission control. The inheritance statement sits in my desk drawer, now bearing withdrawal notations for education and startup costs. Each dollar invested in something larger than myself. My phone buzzes. The reporter's text confirms tomorrow's interview. Behind me, the clock strikes 10, and I smile at my grandmother's photograph beside her framed letter. Yes, I answer the reporter. We're ready tomorrow at 10 a.m. The words settle into my bones with the weight of truth. Derek tried to take my reputation, my confidence, my right to grow. Instead, he gave me the final push toward my purpose. My fingers trace the familiar glass ridges of the penny jar, now our workshop demonstration piece. The copper coins catch lamplight like medals of honor, each one a lesson in dignity preserved. Watch me, Grandma, I whisper to the quiet room. I'm building something they can't take away. On the presentation day, the community center auditorium gleams under fresh fluorescent lights. My fingers smooth the program packets one final time as women filter in, their winter coats draped over arms, their faces bright with anticipation. 45 chairs curve in a welcoming semicircle, already half filled. The local newspaper reporter huddles with Denise in the corner, their heads bent over a notepad. Behind the podium, my grandmother's brooch catches the light. 3 small pearls surrounding a sapphire worn on her collar every Sunday for 40 years. Now it anchors my blazer, its weight familiar against my collarbone. 5 minutes, Denise whispers, squeezing my shoulder as she passes. Above the exit sign, the wall clock inches toward 10. Different from Grandma Evelyn's mantle clock, but just as relentless in marking moments we can't reclaim. I scan the room, taking in the faces. A silver-haired woman in the front row clutches her purse like a shield. 2 seats over, a young mother bounces a baby while scribbling notes. Behind them, decades of stories written in worry lines and sharp eyes, in shoulders squared against invisible weights. The clock strikes 10. My heels click against hardwood as I approach the podium. The room falls silent, all those eyes turning toward me. I think of Grandma Evelyn, of her quiet strength as she balanced checkbooks and paid bills and built a future from nothing but determination. Welcome to the Evelyn Project. My voice carries clear and strong, just as I practiced. Financial independence isn't just about money, it's about freedom. The words unlock something in the room. Heads nod. A few women dab at their eyes. The silver-haired woman's grip on her purse loosens just slightly. 3 months ago, I inherited $42,000 from my grandmother. I pause, letting the number settle. But that's not the most valuable thing she left me. She gave me something worth far more, the wisdom to recognize when someone values what you have more than who you are. The back door creaks. My heart stutters as Derek slips inside, his barista apron still tied around his waist. He takes a seat in the last row, his familiar half-smile nowhere in sight. For a moment, I'm back in my apartment, his voice sharp with accusations. You're not wife material, you're selfish and irresponsible. But this isn't my apartment, and I'm not that woman anymore. Money doesn't create character, I continue, my voice growing stronger. It reveals it. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. A woman in the third row wipes her eyes. 2 others exchange knowing looks. Derek shifts in his chair, his jaw tight. Today, we're going to talk about financial boundaries. I move from behind the podium, claiming the space. They're not walls to keep people out. They're foundations to build something that can never be taken from you. The next hour flows like water. We discuss red flags in financial relationships. Warning signs I'd ignored with Derek now serve as lesson points. The women share their own stories, marriages where money became control, children who drained retirement accounts, friends who turned manipulation into an art form. Take out the worksheet titled Core Values, I say, watching Derek's face as women rustle through their packets. Circle the 3 that matter most to you. Not what someone else says should matter, what matters to you. The room falls quiet except for pencils scratching paper. Derek's leg bounces, a nervous tell I once found endearing. Now it just reminds me of all the times he couldn't sit still long enough to build anything real. Some people chase money, I say into the silence. Others chase meaning. One fades fast, the other lasts. Heads lift. Eyes meet mine, bright with recognition. Even the baby has fallen silent, sensing the weight of the moment. Your worth isn't measured by who loves you, I continue, echoing Grandma Evelyn's words. It's measured by how you love yourself, your dreams, your future. The standing ovation catches me off guard. It starts with the silver-haired woman, her hands shaking but determined. Others join until the sound fills the room, drowning out the hum of fluorescent lights and the ticking of the clock. Women line up to speak with me, sharing their stories in hurried whispers. The reporter waits patiently, her notebook filled with cramped writing. Through it all, I feel Derek's presence like a shadow at the edges of my awareness. When he finally stands to leave, my eyes meet his across the crowd. His shoulders slump, the swagger gone. For a moment, he looks lost, a man who thought he was owed something, discovering too late that worth must be earned. I give him a single nod, neither forgiveness nor condemnation, just acknowledgement of a lesson learned, a price paid, a freedom earned. The door closes behind him with a soft click, almost lost in the buzz of conversation. But I hear it, the sound of a chapter ending, of a new one beginning. Denise appears at my elbow, her smile fierce with pride. Ready for the interview? I touch Grandma Evelyn's brooch, feeling its steady presence. Yes, I say, I have something to build. The bank statement on my new mahogany desk shows a balance of $412. I run my fingers over the paper, remembering another statement a year ago that changed everything. Behind me, Grandma Evelyn's clock chimes 3 times, its familiar tone filling my downtown office. A soft knock draws my attention. Come in. Denise appears in the doorway, holding up her tablet. The final numbers from last month's workshops just came in. Want to guess how many women we reached? I shake my head, smiling. Tell me. 273. Her grin matches mine, across all 3 centers, and that's not counting the waiting lists. The morning sunlight streams through my office window, catching the gold lettering on the door, the Evelyn Project. Below it, in smaller text, Financial Independence Through Education. Did you ever think, Denise asks, settling into the chair across from me, that $42,000 could touch so many lives? The money was just the seed. I touched the vintage brooch at my collar, the one Grandma wore to every important meeting. The real inheritance was knowing what to do with it. My phone buzzes with a text from the community center director. Another city wants our workshop model. I add it to the growing list of expansion possibilities, right below the notes for tomorrow's special session. Ready for the 60-plus workshop? Denise asks, reading my mind as usual. Margaret said she's bringing her whole bridge club. Almost. I open my desk drawer and pull out the stack of participant journals, each one containing the same message on the first page. Build something for yourself that no one can take away. The afternoon passes in a blur of preparation. At 5, most of the building empties, but I stay, surrounded by thank you letters from past participants. Each one tells a story of transformation. Sarah, who started her own alterations business. Patricia, back in school at 58. Jennifer, who finally left her controlling husband of 30 years. Their words fill the quiet office with invisible triumph. My fingers find Grandma's letter in my journal, the paper soft from countless readings. The words haven't changed, but their meaning grows deeper with each passing month. I remember her at her kitchen table, pencil flying across her ledger books, showing me how every penny mattered. The world runs on dollars and cents, she'd say. But a woman's worth? That's measured in stronger currency. A text from Professor Grantham lights up my phone. Brilliant job at the regional conference last week. The standing ovation was well-deserved. I close my eyes, remembering the sea of faces as I shared our story. Not just mine, but all of our Severy women who ever had to choose between dignity and security. Every grandmother who scraped and saved to give her children better. Every daughter learning to stand her ground. The setting sun paints my office walls amber. On them hang 3 things: my newly framed master's degree in public administration, the local newspaper article about our program's success, and a black and white photo of Grandma Evelyn on her first day as head bookkeeper, standing straight-backed and proud. My laptop chimes with a final email confirmation of next month's scholarship program for women returning to education. 5 full rides, funded by our new foundation grant. I think of the glass jar where Grandma and I once collected pennies, and how she turned each coin into a lesson about compound interest and compound wisdom. Moving to the window, I watch the city lights blink on one by one. A year ago, I stood in my apartment wondering if I'd lost everything. Tonight, I stand in an office that bears my grandmother's name, knowing I found something far more precious than money. The clock chimes again, a gentle reminder that it's time to head home. I gather my things, straightening the stack of brochures for tomorrow's workshop. The front page shows our tagline, written in elegant script. Your worth isn't measured by your wallet. At the door, I pause. The office glows softly in the evening light, Grandma's clock keeping steady time on the wall. In the quiet, I can almost hear her voice. Some people chase money their whole lives, Monica. The smart ones? They build something that money can't buy. I smile, touching the light switch. We did it, Grandma. We built something they can't take away. The clock ticks steadily in the darkness as I lock up, its rhythm as familiar as my own heartbeat. Tomorrow, another group of women will walk through these doors, carrying their own stories of loss and hope. They'll leave with something more valuable than dollars, the knowledge that their worth isn't found in a bank statement but in the unshakable dignity of standing on their own ground. In my car, I check my final appointment for the day, dinner with James, my boyfriend of 3 months. A man who arrived in my life after I'd already built my own foundation, who looks at what I've created with admiration instead of calculation. The kind of partner Grandma would have approved of, someone who adds to your life without trying to subtract from your soul. But that's just a bonus chapter in a story that was always about something bigger, about the quiet power of one generation lifting another, about turning an inheritance of wisdom into a legacy of light. The city stretches out before me as I drive home, countless windows glowing in the dusk, behind each one, a story waiting to be rewritten. Tomorrow, we'll start another chapter, one woman at a time. Grandma was right, the truest wealth isn't counted in dollars. It's measured in lives transformed, in dignity restored, in strength passed down like a treasured family recipe, growing richer with each generation that adds its own wisdom to the mix. I touch the brooch at my collar one last time, feeling the weight of all it represents, not just memory but mission, not just inheritance but imperative. We build something for ourselves, and then we build it for each other. That's a fortune that keeps growing, long after the bank statements fade.